Amplify Science Plate Motion Unit Chapter 3 Lesson 3.1 Considering Rates of Plate Movement. So as always, we begin with the warm-up. Go ahead and take a look at the image, respond what you think in the following boxes, and then be sure to hand that in. Once you've done that, we're going to move on to the teacher step. You won't see that in your student screen, but this is the point where the instructor plays a video on GPS, or Global Positioning System, something we use in our daily lives, maybe without even knowing it. Once you have a background on GPS, we then move on to plate maps, and we can see the evidence and the data we collect from that GPS work. This is a three-step simulation. Make sure you go through each of the three screens and that you build or construct the boundaries and calculate the rates. You're going to use a new skill in which you are adding markers on your plate simulation. So I'm going to open up that simulation hopefully really quickly here and point out in the toolbar where those markers are. So I'm going to open region 1, let's say, and up here in the upper right hand corner there are markers, and these are the markers that I'm going to drop on my screen. And then when I'm running it, one of the things I can do is if I pause up here in the upper right, I can then measure the distance between the markers by clicking on those markers. And then I can calculate distance moved in number of years and get the rate. So that's the key new skill you'll be using, is plopping those markers down on each side of those boundaries and finding out what happens. So back to the lesson steps. Step 3, there's a discussion. It just gives you a chance to use these words that are listed in conversation, just in a discussion with each other. There's no data entry, there's nothing to hand in. Push your understanding, challenge each other a little bit. The word bank's on your screen, but we also have the cards in your tubs, or if you're at home, you can go into the resources folder and take a look at those. Once you've completed that, move on to the next activity, which they always call homework. We always do in class. And this is you using some of those word bank words and explaining the rate or how quickly those plates moved. And hopefully it's clear to you at this point. They're starting to wrap up the unit, and you should really start to have a solid understanding of what's going on. So that is lesson 3.1.